Sailing into both Eastbourne and Brighton presents some minor challenges that are surprising because both are purpose-built marinas created simply to increase the value of the residential properties surrounding them. Eastbourne is the first easily accessible port after Dover and is the closest UK port to my home marina in France. Coming from either Brighton or Dover, the entrance to Eastbourne is quite hard to spot. It doesn't particularly stand out because it's a third of a mile inland up a winding channel to the two locks. And there's another issue. The direct route from Dover takes you over some shallows that would be very unpleasant in bad weather, but there is a fairly deep route just south of Royal Sovereign Shoals. It's important to keep inside the buoyed channel, as there's a wreck off to starboard which is awash at low water. It's even more important to keep in the middle of the somewhat winding channel, as the mud banks extend a considerable distance from the shore. When I was bringing Golden Haze home to France, Eastbourne was my jumping off point, and a fisherman coming out of the lock ahead of me, an hour after low water, radioed back to lock control, "Tell the old bloke in the yacht that if he leaves now, he'll go aground." I looked around to see who he was talking about, and then realised I was the only boat in the lock and understood the advice was for me. But to be fair, Premier have since dredged the channel, and it has depth in the centre of a metre below chart datum, meaning it should be navigable at any state of the tide. The lock and port control is on VHF 17, and it's worth making contact some distance out so they know you're arriving and can prepare one of the two locks for you. The locks are well designed, and it's easy to make fast to the floating pontoon, which has both mooring lines and cleats. They will allocate you a berth on the radio, and there's a plan of the marina at the end of the floating pontoon. It's an easy and well organised operation. Once parked up, you go to the marina office in the normal way. This is the view from the lock of the channel into Eastbourne at high water. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't take care to stay in the centre of the buoyed channel on your way in. I don't know if you're interested, but this is a quick tour of Golden Haze below. 2 sleeping cabins. One shower and heads. Saloon and galley. My daughter-in-law describes it as a windy house. Well, she's certainly comfortable to live in. Sovereign Harbour is not in the town of Eastbourne, which is a bus ride away, and it is the centrepiece of a major housing development that surrounds 4 connected basins which have ducky little opening bridges joining each one. It has a fleet of mainly small commercial fishing boats. It's a totally self-contained marina village with most facilities on site. There's one area given over to half a dozen restaurants, all serving generic chain eatery food. Their primary clientele are the thousands of inhabitants from the surrounding harbour blocks. Walking over this pretty bridge, which divides the basin that has mainly fishing boats in it from the big pleasure craft area, you come to the boatyard, which appears to have good facilities and a chandlery and some excellent riggers at Tate, who also look after the boats in Brighton. Golden Haze is lucky to be joined by my nephew Simeon for the passage round to Brighton. He's an experienced skipper with his own lovely Jouet 28 berthed in Newhaven. It's a real pleasure to have a knowledgeable skipper on board, as it makes transiting the lock so much easier, and I don't have to rush around attending warps and fenders. It is of course low water again as we make our way down the channel, heading for the open sea. The 20-mile passage to Brighton passes Newhaven, where Sim keeps Dragon Singer, and I left him on the helm and went below to have a snooze. The problem with Brighton Marina, which was also built to enhance the prices of another major housing development, is that the entrance channel is constantly silting up despite frequent dredging. It gets lumpy and shallow in the entrance, and if you tend to go in much more than 2 or 3 hours either side of high water, you'll probably go aground. This is a purpose-built marina which majors in liveaboards who have jobs locally and houseboats. There are purpose-built little floating sheds, a massive motorboats that will probably leave a marina, and above the jetties, row upon row of little apartments. It actually has far less boat facilities than Eastbourne, and in many ways is less welcoming. For example, the little yacht club beside the security gate welcomes visiting yacht boat crews by charging them 20% more than members. Extraordinary. The only yacht club in the world to do this, I'm told. There is a mass of restaurants and cafes along the boardwalk with famous names displayed and almost all owned by the same catering company that supplies them with ready packaged food. The area is very popular with residents of the huge housing estate up on the hillside, and of course the out-of-town Asda supermarket with its vast car park brings in lots and lots of visitors. Just opposite Asda is the bus stop for Brighton, the alternative being a Uber or taxi for around £10. The marina is not in Brighton, and it doesn't have the wonderful cosmopolitan air of that vibrant town. The better restaurants are at the back of the marina next to Asda, around Marina Square, which is beside a small inner basin with chandlers and excellent yacht brokers, which back onto a quite awful Italian restaurant called Bella Napoli. Not much Bella about it. It once had a good reputation, but now serves badly cooked food at exorbitant prices by staff that should ask the charm school for refunds. You can guess I didn't enjoy my visit. But all is not lost. Almost next door is a wonderful Greek restaurant called Skara, which has an excellent menu, lots of non-Greek choices at real value for money prices, served by courteous, charming people, not to be missed. And just across the little basin, opposite to Skara, is another excellent eatery called Master Mariner, which is really a pub with super good grub. There's a boatyard at the end with all the trades available and an excellent upholstery shop. Brighton Marina has superb heads, showers, toilet facilities, second only to Bewley. Each cabin has a shower, basin, WC and chair to sit on, proper individual bathrooms. It's almost worth coming to Brighton Marina just to see how it should be done. My stepson and stepdaughter live in Brighton, so I sail in there frequently and I love the town. But the marina, with its liveaboard cycles parked up behind the excellent security gate, is a bit of a curate's egg. Useful stopover if coming from the Loo Channel or Eastbourne Dover direction. At my website, gentlesailing.com, you can find my books about sailing and boats. French Canal Routes to the Mediterranean has sold over 3,000 copies, and the Gentle Sailing Route to the Med, down the Atlantic coast without having to spend a night at sea, has sold over 2,700 copies. The Atlantic Crossing Guide, which I published last year, is being downloaded in amazing numbers, I'm really pleased to say. They're all instant PDF downloads, and there's a link to a UK website that can turn them into printed books for around £5 if that's what you prefer. gentlesailing.com. About a dozen books there, including guides to the Caribbean and crossing the Pacific. Fair winds.